Okay, welcome to a cloudy Skiathos, Lima Golf Sierra Kilo. We'll be flying into Santorini, Lima Golf Sierra Romeo in the flyby A320. And we'll be using an application called Pilot 280C or P2A to give us air traffic control. I've very quickly imported the flight plan directly from SimBrief, just copying and pasting the flight plan. And we're not using real weather today, so we're just going to take off from runway 01 on the SIG Foxtrot 1 Bravo, and at Santorini we'll be using runway 33 on the VOR DME Alpha approach with the Santorini transition, which is the VOR on the field at on the island of Santorini. We'll load that. Flight level 250, and we are. I'm just going to connect the simulator. Give me a second. FSUI PC. Click the simulator. We are Olympic 995, and what we do is to file the flight. Oh no. Okay, so we've connected to the simulator. We now need to validate the flight plan. That goes green. And now we file the flight plan as you would in real world. We're not using real weather, but P2A can display the real weather, and it will probably read back the current QNH, but we're not going to worry about that. And we've got the frequencies here. Skiathos only has a tower and approach controller, so we're on the tower frequency, and we'll call on that in a bit. Okay, so let's fire the aircraft up. Not going to follow due process and procedure. We just want to get going. So APU's coming on. Hope it's not in a cold and dark state by the looks of things. So we've got a few adjustments to make. Okay, and the ideas, come on, give it a bit of lighting. Bit of lighting down here, floodlight, console light, screen brightness, and screen brightness. And MCP brightness. Okay, so going back up the top, APU bleed is on, fuel pumps come on, crew oxygen on. Let's go to the fly pad. We're going to pop in 5,000 kilos of fuel. Okay, going to go to Navigraph charts, call up Skiathos, get the SIDS, and that's a departure from 01 there. Make that full screen, there we go. This calls for runway heading 2,000 feet or above, right turn overhead Skopellos. And Scapella's 113.4, so we need to get that into our MCDU. Let's look at the MCDU now. Let's go to the AOC menu. We're just going to load the same number of passengers I had in my last flight, 174 passengers. Right, and now we go to the init page, Lima Golf Sierra Kilo / Lima Golf Sierra Romeo into right 1. No flight plan found, it's fine. Check the IRS, that's aligned. Flight number OAL Olympic Airlines 9905. Cost index of 20. Flight level 250. Flight plan. Okay, so Lima Golf Sierra Kilo, departure from 01 on the Sig Fox 1 Bravo. Insert. And we get to SIGFO, go to Airways. So the first airway from SIGFO, Uniform Mike 749. And we'll fly that until Ropox, Romeo Oscar. I'll do that again. Romeo Oscar Papa Oscar X-ray. Then Uniform November 132. We're going to fly that to VOR Kilo Echo Alpha. Then it's Lima 52. And we'll fly that to Rapos. R-A-P-O-S. Okay. Insert. Now, I know that we could enter an approach at Santorini, but this one doesn't display properly. So we'll fly the VOR DME into runway 33 manually. So all I'm going to do is get rid of the discontinuity. Okay, so let's see how the boarding is going. Atsu, AOP, weight balance. Okay, so there's a few passengers to go. Now back to P2A. So we filed the flight plan, we've connected, go to the say it function. We're going to ask for our clearance. So
Olympic 905 ready to copy IFR clearance.
Olympic 905 is cleared to Lima Golf Sierra Romeo, climb via the SIG 1B departure, with the SIGFO transition, then as filed. Expect departure runway 01. Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Approach on 126.05. Squawk 6264.
Olympic 905 is cleared to Lima Golf Sierra Romeo, climb via the SIG F1B departure, with the SIGFO transition, then as filed. Climb to flight level 130 via the departure. Expect higher clearances 8 minutes after departure. Approach on 126.05. Squawk 6264.
Olympic 905 rearback correct. QNH is 1000, let us know when you're ready for pushback.
QNH is 1000 Olympic 905.
okay, so I've entered the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight center of gravity. You go to the init page, page 2, put in that data. Block fuel is 5. Put that into the block fuel. And we go to the performance page. It's going to be a flaps 1 takeoff. Flex temp of 20. It's a shortish runway here, so V1 of 133, VR of 134, and a V2 138. So we're MacDude, fully MacDude. We've got our squawk code that's in. Now we can set up our pushback. We're not using real weather, so we're going to keep the QNH. Let's set up the pushback. Pre-plan. Just a quick pushback nose to the south. I'm just going to zoom out very quickly. And I'm just going to rotate the aircraft around to face south. That'll do nicely. Okay. And we'll request the pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
And we'll do the same in P2A. So, clearance, push, and engine start. So, select the top option. Well, you can select any of the options, depends which one you want.
Olympic 9er ready for pushback and engine start.
Olympic 9er pushback and engine start approved.
Pushback and engine start approved. Olympic 9er 5.
P2A will manage the frequencies for you en route, but on the ground you need to change the frequencies. And we'll use the say it function where you can select from a predetermined list of requests and commands, and it will speak them for you. But you can also do say it plus, where you can construct your sentences.
We are cleared
for instance, if you want to descend to flight level 140, something like that. So you can construct your own sentences. So we've got clearance to push back. We need to release our parking brake. We'll do that now. There we go.
Parking brakes are released.
We'll lock our door.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Right.
Yeah, we'll start in the sequence.
So APU bleed is on. Fuel pumps are on. Come back down. Engine start master. Engine page is set. Starting number 2. So, and the timer can come on. So, spooling up. At about 25, fuel will be introduced. So we'll have fuel flow. Then we'll have light up with igniters. And then the big fan will turn and the oil pressure will rise. That all should happen. I think it's within 30 seconds. So, light up, fuel flow, light up, the big fan, and now we've got oil pressure. So that looks like a good start, number 2. And we'll wait till we get to 19%. When the engine becomes available, then we'll start number 1. So just to review the departure, takeoff runway heading, 2,000 feet or above, right turn, direct Skopellos, which we get to flight level 060 or above, and then we fly onwards to Sigfo flight level 080 or above. Skopellos 113.4. Okay, let's have a look. Engine's 19, so we've got that available. Starting number 1. So it's spooling up. RadNav page 113.4. Just into VOR 1.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brake's coming up.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set.
Fuel flow,
Boarding aircraft.
light up, big fan,
Ground. Startup is
running.
complete. You may disconnect.
oil pressure.
Roger. Good
So
engine
we're all
start.
good.
Cleared to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Right, so
Holding
the
position,
pushback
waiting
is
for
just
the
going to
visual.
disconnect.
Thank you
We
and
can still see
goodbye.
that they've got the nose wheel steering disconnected. And when that clears, we know that we can shut down the pushback plug-in. There we go. Close the plug-in. They've done their job. There they're driving away. Okay, and number 1 is spooling up. $19 and it will be available. Okay, so now engine start select to normal. Go up to the overhead panel. APU bleed come off. Probe and window heat on. APU can come off. we're going to set flaps 1. Arm the spoilers, and we're going to put the predicted wind shear to on, even though it doesn't do anything at this time. I'm sure they'll fix that. And the Sobo have addressed it, and now we can ask for taxi. So I won't refer to P2A all the time, but just to show you what it can do, just initially we'll bring it up on the screen. Taxi. Choose any of these commands. I like the first one, ready to taxi, very simple.
Olympic 9er 5 ready to taxi.
Olympic 9er 5 taxi to runway 01 hold short runway 01.
Taxi to runway 01 hold short runway 01 Olympic 9er 5.
So this is the map in P2A, and it shows you a taxi route. And here I can see that it's actually expecting me to taxi down, backtrack the runway and line up. And probably it will give me clearance when I get to the end. Now P2A works with all simulators. It works FSX, P3D, X-Plane, MSFS. And it does its very best. MSFS is the newest, so some of the taxiways do have issues. We shouldn't really backtrack without clearance, but you know, I'm not too worried about it. It's better than nothing. So let's have a look. Taxi light can come on. Oops, it's still on. Oops, my bad. Okay, so parking brake off, and let's give it a bit of power from the power levers. Okay, we've got an oncoming vehicle. He should give way to me. He's not going to. He's a fuel bowser. Okay, so look the other way because I'm going to drive right through him. I am Italian. Okay, taxiing forward under idle thrust. We're going to take a left here, taxi onto the runway. Of course we're in the runway environment, so my co-pilot should be busy putting on the lights, but he's not, so I've got to do it myself. Let's look up top. Lights coming on. You can see I've got the turn-off lights on as well. I don't know why that is. And of course the strobe lights. So we've got auto brake to max. Cabin check. And takeoff config check. Okay, so we're all set there.
Olympic 9er 5 cleared to cross runway 01.
There you go. So
Cleared to cross runway 01 Olympic 9er 5.
Olympic 9er 5 advise when ready for departure.
Wilco Olympic 9er 5.
He'll give me clearance, I reckon. Or we can just ask for it. Okay, so let's get P2A back on the screen. So he's not going to give me clearance, I'm going to have to ask for it. That's fair enough. So
Tower Olympic 9er 5 ready for departure runway 01.
Olympic 9er 5 winds are 026 at 7 knots cleared for takeoff, runway 01.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 01 Olympic 9er 5.
So we've got Scopellos in VOR1, switching VOR1 on. Just changing this to nav. So we've got the compass rose and the arrow pointing to Scopellos. Putting the clock on, spooling up the engines, bit of forward pressure on the stick. Okay, engines are stable. Flex 20. SRS, nav, auto thrust, blue. Okay, so into the centre line with the rudder, try and those crosshairs on my ND. Gear coming up, positive rate. Immediately going to manual on both heading and speed. Speed selecting 180. Okay, just following those crosshairs, the flight directors. In a moment, it's going to tell me to change to climb thrust.
Olympic 9 and 905 contact ski Athos approach on 126.05. Have a good afternoon.
Approach on 126.05 Olympic 9 or 905.
P2A will manage the en route frequencies for me.
Approach Olympic 9 or 905 climbing
Well,
to flight level 130.
We're over 2000, so I don't know what's going on with it. But that's fine. We'll just bring it back to climb ourselves. There we go. And we're going to just do a rate 1 turn to go directly overhead Skopellos, making sure that the heading bug is on the Skopellos, so the flight director will take us to it. I think it's going to get there before we do. Speed up to 210, flat limiting speed we have, so we're going to clean up now, flaps up, nav mode on, autopilot number 1 coming on, and let's clean up the aircraft. So,
Olympic 995 slow to 210 knots or less.
Wilco Olympic 9 or 905.
yeah, there's a speed restriction on this thing, so we've really set it at 210, and now speed brakes can go disarmed, and I can go back to the arc mode. There we go, and the aircraft's now going to follow this tortuous circle around. So we're over 6,000 at Skopellos, that's fine. We're already over 8,000, which is a restriction at Sigfo, so that's fine. Notice how P2A tells you to keep your speed down. It monitors, you can tell it to have a bit of latency, a little bit of leeway, you know, heading plus or minus 10 degrees, speed plus or minus 5 knots, something like that. Okay, so zooming out on the display a little bit. Got one waypoint showing now, so at least I've got some useful information on it. So we're fast approaching 130, which is the initial clearance altitude.
Climb and maintain flight level 190.
So we've got
Climb
clearance.
and maintain flight level 190 Olympic 9 or 905.
Yeah, 190. And the speed restriction is until Sigfo, so we just need to keep 210 knots until then. And we're above, oops, my bad, above 10,000, switch the manual lights off. I'm going to release them, so seatbelt signs can come off. And about 7 to run to Sigfo. All looking good. And we'll just go to standard QNH, even though it's the same QFE is interesting, so pull the knob. The QFE is field elevation, so it looks like if you press it you get QFE. So you can have 0 on the altimeter irrespective of what altitude the airport is at. So if you're flying a circuit at Biggin, have it on QFE, the altimeter will read 0 when you're on the ground and 1,000 when you're in the circuit, as opposed to the QNH. So just approaching Sigfo. Top of the climb marker is just the other side of Sigfo, just the south of Sigfo. I could really speed up now and then probably wouldn't turn me off. Let's find out. So going into managed speed. Let's have a look. They're a bit tenacious though. If you do something wrong they won't stop badgering you until you get it right. So we're over Sigfo.
995 contact reference control on 135.87. Enjoy your afternoon.
Center on 135.87. Take care. Olympic 9er 5.
You'll see that it changes the frequencies for you, and it should make
Center
contact.
Olympic 9er 5 climbing to flight level 190.
Olympic 9er 5, good afternoon. Radar contact.
And it will probably give me a continuous climb to 250, which is the requested cruise altitude. It's only a short hop. So we're just getting up to our climb profile, 290 knots. So we're still accelerating. So P28 will tell us to keep climbing shortly. I hope. They don't always. Might need to stay level off for a bit. We'll see.
Olympic 9er 5, climb and maintain flight level 250.
Climb and maintain flight level 250. Olympic 9er 5.
Okay. So we will be doing a hold on this flight, and P28 doesn't support holds at this time. I don't know whether it will, and because it doesn't, we're just going to put it P28 on pause. So we'll put it on pause, we'll do a hold so you can see that work in the MCDU, and when we exit the hold we'll unpause P2A and it will be none the wiser, I hope. Okay, so flight level 207. All looking good. So what we can do now, just call up the approach plate. So we'll go Lima Golf Sierra Romeo, we'll type that in. And we'll do, first of all, there's no star today, just doing the approach. And it's VOR A. There it is. So we'll just go full screen on this. Santorini. So it is out overhead Santorini. The VOR Sierra November India 110.4 is on the field. It's on the airport itself. Overhead 3,500. Outbound we're a CAT C aircraft. Outbound radial 117 to 8 DME, right turn, inbound radial 324, 8 DME, descend, sorry, outbound we should have descended from 3,000 to 3,500 to 3,000, right turn, at 8 DME we descend to our MDA, remember we descend as soon as practically possible, and the MDA is 1,700 feet. It's a lovely approach because there's a cliff face here just by your left wing. It's not that close, but It's quite imposing for passengers, I think. Very scenic. So 110.4, 117. So we'll get that dialed in, even though we're still climbing. 104. Oops. Decimal 4. That should come up with the identifier SNI, and it's outbound 117. Okay, and it wants us to enter the destination weather. So performance, next phase, QNH. We're not running real weather, 1013.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, from the flight
Temperature
deck,
is going to be
we've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight.
15, I believe.
Olympic 995 expect the VLR approach to runway 33 with the SNI-1 transition at Santorini.
Expect the VOR approach to runway 33 with the SNI-1 transition Olympic 995.
Okay, so let's look at the transition altitude. 5,000 feet. So we can dial that into the MACD. And it's 1700 in the MDA. Okay, so back to the flight plan. Zoom out again. So we need to cross SNI, zoom out even more. We need to cross SNI at 3,500. So let's just go here, use the calculator function, sync the current altitude, enter 3.5 into our target, and that gives us, no, that's 35,000, sorry. It gives us 68, call it 70 miles. So what we'll do, we're going to put a ring around Santorini of 70 miles. So we've got a ring that appears on the MCDU, and that will act as our top of descent. And to do that, we go to left 1, fix info. We enter the identifier, Sierra November, India, and we want to enter 70 miles. So it's a radius of 70 miles. Go back to flight plan, look at the ND, there we go. So, but that's the radius, and we're not flying a straight line, so it's not quite what we want. Instead, what we can do is go back to progress page, enter SNI, Sierra November, India, put it into right 4, and it tells us how far we are from it, track miles. So that's a more accurate reading. And we've got a top of descent marker, because probably the MACD has got well, we haven't got SNI in it. That's my failure. Let's put it in now. SNI. Put it above the airport. There we go. SNI. And we need to put that in at 3.5.
Olympic 995 descent and maintain flight level 190.
Okay.
Descend and maintain flight level 190 Olympic 995.
Rather a bit early, but we're going to follow ATC. Okay. We're just going to go into an open descent. So it's a not scheduled descent. So down we go. And with P2A, you can tell it what your descent rate is.
What your deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
So you can tell it what your ideal descent profile is, so your top of descent matches your aircraft. Otherwise P2A doesn't know when to tell you to descend. It asks us a bit early there, but I don't mind, to be honest. It's quite fun having being directed. But we will do a hold at Rapos. So let's see if we can set that up. So Rapos is there, we click on Rapos, then we click on hold, left 3, and our current heading is 143. Okay, so let's make our inbound course 143 as well. 143. Okay, so we're going to make it a right turn, but we could easily make it a left turn. We just literally type L or right, and we're going to make it 1.5 minute turn. That's fine, we'll leave that. So press enter, and there we go, we've got Rapos hold, and we'll see it on the ND if we zoom in a bit. We should see a hold there. You can see the beginning of it. Because of course the track is not, it's not our current track, is it? So I was a bit silly there. Let's go back to hold, revert computed. There we go, insert. It knows better. Computed, it knows that the track that we're going into it
Olympic
is
995, descend and maintain flight level 130.
Descend and maintain flight level 130 Olympic 995.
Just open descent again. Yeah, really wants a quite early descent. And what I'm going to do, I don't want to be too low, too early. I'm just going to put in a manual descent rate. Let's go 140. And what's good now with the VNAV, you've got these little arrows, and that blue arrow to the left of the nav line is where it's predicting we will get to the current requested altitude 130 there. So if I actually reduce that even more, make it 1,000 feet per minute, that line will go further out, because that's where we've got a shallower descent rate now. That's fine. Okay. So, looking at the Mach-2. Okay, we're all good. I can get rid of this arc. So if I go to left 1, fix info, clear, clear, back to front plan. The circle's gone. Okay, so we're overhead Kilo Echo Alpha. Getting quite low, so I'm going to strap them in. I don't really want to go much lower because I want to descend in the hold when we get to it. So I need to decide when to pause P2A. Where's the pause button down here? I can just get it to go to sleep. So it's still showing us at ski alpha, so let's press the current position and zoom out a little bit. There we go. And descent rate is estimated at 1800 feet per minute, which would normally be correct. So maybe it's looking at restrictions or constraints. I don't know. Okay. So we're nearly at 130. And we're 40 miles still from Rapos. So we'll just wait and see what they command. I think that's the thing to do. So I've deliberately put my descent rate, 1000 feet per minute, so that it nearly matches the predicted top of descent. We're just going to level off briefly when we get to 1300. I'm hopeful that Peter will get us to descend a bit more, because then we can descend in the hold. Let's see how that works out. Clouds are amazing. Absolutely amazing simulators. It's beyond belief. Okay.
Olympic 995 descend and maintain flight level 070.
Descend and maintain flight level 070 Olympic 995.
So 070, I've dialed in flight level 100 because I want to descend in the hold. So now I'm going to just pause P2A. Okay. And when we pick it up again, hopefully it will just carry on. The developer, a chap called Dave, very nice, very affable, very happy to answer emails. And I've had this product for years and years and years, and I think the world of it. It's very versatile. I don't always use it because it's quite a lot to set up, and you don't always get the right instructions, or the, it goes wrong, goes pear-shaped. You don't get the final clearances. It's not infallible, is what I'm saying. But yeah, it's so much better than the built-in ATC. It's immeasurably better. So zoom in on the ND a little bit. Okay. The other thing to bear in mind with this is that we are flying quite fast for a hold. The aircraft will not be able to manage these tight turns, so we're going to go into manual speed. Okay, so flight level 100, lights coming on. We're going to set our auto brake. We're going to do medium because it's short runway, non-precision approach. Okay. Zoom in a little bit more. So we've got about 15 to run to the hold. again, just looking at the hold, gets to the procedure, then we've told it to go into right hand hold. It's telling us the speed is 216, so it should manage the speed for us. It's computed hold. Inbound track is 117 degrees, and then when we're in the hold we'll have the option here on the right side of the display, exit hold. So when we finished doing our hold, descending to flight level, I think it was 070 ATC wanted us to go to. There you go, exit, just appeared. We'll press exit, unpause P2A and get on with the approach. So flight level 100, aircraft is now slowing down because it's managing the speed, and that's really good to see. They've done a cracking job with this aeroplane. Really, it's pretty darn good. Now 213 is probably what's called the green dot speed, and that's the minimum clean configuration speed. Basically, any slower you'll need to have flaps and slats out. They've really done a good job with this. So, there we are, we're in the hold. We're on the beacon inbound, the inbound leg. Should pick up the speed now, there we go. Engine's spooling up, yep, there we go. It's all good. Zooming in a bit more. Hold entries, the pattern in which you approach a hold can be difficult. An aircraft should be able to work them out. There are 3 types of entries into holds. We won't go into them now. There's parallel, there's teardrop, there's direct. And this is a direct entry, so we're just going to literally fly into the point at which the hold is set around, which is Rapos, and then we'll fly a timed turn around to the reciprocal heading. Here we go. Okay, so we're in the hold. Let's pretend ATC have said descend now on flight level 080. So 080 set. I'm going to go open descent. I don't want to go down too quickly in the hold, so I'm going to tell it to go down at a leisurely 1,000 feet per minute. That's comfortable for everybody. There we go. Flying it absolutely beautifully. You get lots of different types of holds, published holds, holds at the end of a missed approach. The aircraft will have a database of those, so it knows whether you're calling up a published hold or not. Southwest Maya tend to do ad hoc holds. They'll tell you to hold at a certain point. They don't really mind which direction you do hold in, but as you saw, the aircraft is more than capable of doing computed hold, so it knows that you're heading to a certain waypoint at a certain on a certain heading, and it will use that as the inbound track. Well, it makes sense. But a published hold might not be on that particular heading, so you have to enter the hold in a certain pattern depending on the direction you're going into it. But you can Google that, hold entries. So each leg on this hold should be 1.5 minutes. and it will carry on going round until we tell it to exit the hold. Okay, and we're nearly at flight level 080. Let's pretend ATC have told us now to carry on down to 070. So 070 dialed in, pull the button, going to keep it on a 1,000 feet per minute descent, and down. We're going to continue downwards, and we're going to exit the hold this time round, but it would literally just keep on going until you tell it otherwise. So we'll pretend that ATC are happy with what we've done, that whatever problem was at the airport or the traffic has dissipated and departed and everything is fine for our continued approach. So we will exit the hold this time round. Well, I'm just going to wait until the inbound track to do that. No reason, just it seems sensible. So here we go. These, I promise you, were a nightmare to fly because as you know, I've got an instrument rating restricted, and these were really, really hard to fly manually without autopilots compensating for wind. Really difficult. Really difficult. But the restricted IFR rating is basically get you home rating in case you're caught in bad weather. You can do instrument flight. You can do safe instrument flight and land at an airport with an instrument approach. And that's what it was designed for. But we used to actually take off in IFR knowing that, you know, we would be in instrument meteorological conditions for flight. Well, we were allowed to, we were licensed to. But they weren't fun, they were a lot of work. Okay, so inbound back to Rapos. Let's look at the Mach do. Press the exit hold. Okay, so we've got an option to resume the hold, and we can do that just by pressing right 2. But the aircraft will actually just continue onwards now, Rapos onto Sierra November, India at 3,500 feet. So I'm going to unpause P2A and we'll see what they say. Oh.
Center Olympic 905 descending to flight level 070.
Olympic 905 radar contact. Olympic 905 descend and maintain 4,200 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,200 feet Olympic 905.
I don't know why it's chosen 4,200. I'm curious. So anyway, let's have a look. So it should just fly.
Olympic 905 cleared for the VOR approach to runway 33 with the SNI-1 transition contact Santorini approach tower on 118.05. Enjoy your afternoon.
Cleared for the VOR approach to runway 33 with the SNI-1 transition approach tower on 118.05 Olympic 905. Approach tower Olympic 905 inbound for VOR approach runway 33.
Olympic 905, good afternoon. Radar contact. QNH is 1013, continue VOR to runway 334 when established on final.
Continue board to runway 33 will call when established on final Olympic 9er 5.
Now, I don't know what happened then, but the aircraft was accelerating to 290 knots, which is clearly not right. So let's have a look. How far are we from SNI? It's not even coming in range yet, so I think we're still quite a long way out. I'm not quite sure why it's so eager for us to go get lower. Yeah, it looks like it's 40 miles out still. So we'll just stay at 4,200. And then we'll get down to 3,500, which is the altitude you should be overhead the VOR at. And we're below 10,000, so our speed should be 250 knots or less. Telling us to go to local QNH, which of course is 1013. Okay, so we've got the approach plate here. Okay, so just to remind ourselves, overhead 3,500, outbound 117 radial to DME 8, descending 3,000, right turn, intercept 324 radial inbound, 8 DME, descend 1,700 feet. That's all the information we want. I'm showing that. Okay. And now we can just go direct on the VOR. So we're just going to go back into heading mode. Okay, we no longer want the FMC guiding us because if you remember I didn't put an approach in. Because it just didn't seem to draw it properly. It does draw a different VOR approach to 3.3, but it's not the one I wanted. I wanted to do this because this is the one that you're familiar with from Mykonos. Okay, so how are we doing that? So, well, there's Santorini. So what have we got? Top, we got landing lights are on, seatbelts, passenger signs are on. We'll put the nose light on, just it's one of those jobs that we don't then have to do later. Okay, so we've got 30 miles to run to the VOR. And P2A should manage all the frequencies all the way to approach, clearance to land, and then on the ground it hands it back to us. But by then we're on the ground and we're happy. Let's have a look. Are there any speed restrictions on this approach that we need to be aware of? No. Okay, so we're good. And the minimum altitudes, 3,500. So 3,500 is the minimum safety altitude in the vicinity until you're actually established in the procedure. Okay, so we're on heading mode at the moment. I'm going to go to VOR. We should have 117 dialed in. Just double check everything. So 110.4, 0 November, India, 117 on the course. That's all correct. I'm going to go to performance page because I'll need to activate the approach phase at some point. miles to run. Okay, let's go down to 3.5. And go down very leisurely, 500 feet per minute.
$2,500.
That's not Santorini down there, I was mistaken. If we had a terrain radar, that will be on now. So the missed approach is climb radial 324, that's the inbound radial, to 2,500, then right turn to VOR, climbing 3,500 and hold. Basically climb to 3,500 and hold. Okay, so let's just slow down a little bit. Let's go down to green dot. Go back to VOR mode. DME is 14 to run. Flap 1, speed checked 220, flap 1. Okay, so auto brake is on medium, one stage of flap. So again, this white pointer, and we're overhead the beacon, swing around, and then we'll take up the course that we need. To run. So let's look at the descent profile. Well, none is listed, so we get down sooner the better. That's fine, happy with that. Okay, so we're 9 to run. Really just down here, bottom left of the VOR. See the airport. In fact, let's put airports on so you should see it. Okay, so 5 to run, speed down to 180. And we'll do flaps 2. Flaps 2, speed checked. Dial in 3000. We've got 2.5 to run approximately. just do an open descent. That's fine. I don't want to worry about what descent rate to use for the outbound leg. 1.5 miles. That needle will start to get jittery shortly. Starting its turn. Under a mile left. Don't forget we've got vertical altitude, so it'll be about 0.3, 0.4.
Olympic 9905 descent via the SNI-1
And we're just going
transition
to swing it round now to match
Descend
the
to
VOR.
3,000 feet via the SNI-1 transition. Olympic 9905.
3,000 feet. Open descent. There we go. So that VOR radial's coming in. So we don't have a glide path published, so we're not going to use FPA mode. We're just going to follow the VOR radial. Coming left a little bit. There is a bit of wind indicated. Tailwind, 12 knots, so we're just going to... Okay. There we go. So that radial's coming in nicely now. Swing it back around a bit. And we'll just keep to the right side of it because the wind is from our rear right quarter. Okay, speed's coming back now to 170, 160 will do. Okay, and we are 4 DME. Okay, so just check the radial here because we're slightly left to track at the moment. Just going to bring it around a tiny bit more. There we go, we're perfectly on that, I would say. 117. And just to remind ourselves of the inbound track, 324. 324. Okay, so when we're going round at 8 miles to intercept 324.
Olympic 9905 descend and maintain 2,300 feet. Continue on approach speeds call when established on final.
Descend and maintain 2,300 feet. Olympic 9905.
We've got 3,000 on ours, we're going to stick with ours. Okay, and we're left to track a little bit. Okay, 7.3. Going to get ready now to come round. I'm going to roll out on about 260. There we go, 260. We're going to enter 324. 324. Left 2. We're going to go to performance. Activate the approach phase. Okay. Dropping the gear. Speed back to 150. Keep it 155. And we'll just wait for that radial to start coming in before we chase it. It'll come in any second. There it comes. So bring that heading round. We're nearly at 8 DME, so we should start our descent. 8 DME now, so we're going to go down to 1700 on this, and we're going to bring a descent rate of about 700 feet per minute. Okay, full flap. going to go manage speed. Full flap. Full flap do we have? Radial's not quite coming in yet. Still. Descent, because we want to get to the MDA sooner rather than later. There we go, that radial's
2,500.
Just swing the aircraft around a bit more. There we go. And we'll just keep it slightly left of that because that's where the wind's coming from. Look out the window, we can't see anything yet. Actually, yes we can. We can see the runway. Okay. The big bank of cloud, hopefully we'll get through that. And you can see it's an offset, so let's do cabin check. Spoilers armed. Okay, just keep following that radial.
100 above.
Oh, I've got the runway. Okay, and we're at MDA, so just gonna
minimum.
That's close. There's that lovely cliff face. So it's an offset approach. So we're just gonna again turn a little bit left to intersect the centre line of the runway. And we're keeping the runway in the same place on the windscreen. There we go. All good.
1,000.
It's lovely, isn't it? Look at that cliff there. So bring the nose up a bit. Keeping that runway at the same pace as the windscreen, it means that we're going to arrive there at the right place. So, nice photogrammetry, a bit blocky, a bit high.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100.
50 over
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. Retard.
Okay, so the thrusters, first thrusters on, decel, and manual braking. Off here. We can stop in time. There we go. Without overheating the brakes. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, come to a stop just the other side of the hold. Clean up the aircraft. The co-pilot would of course be doing this. So flaps can go all the way up, spoilers can be disarmed and retracted, AP can come on, strobe can come off, landing lights can come off, taxi light can come on, and we're all good. And looking down, we haven't had any more instruction from P2A, but that's okay, I'm not worried. I have no idea where to park here, so we will park somewhere. There's a marshaller there, but I think he's doing the other side, isn't he? Ooh, where do we go? I don't know. I'm going to go there. taxi round to that marshal then. So, taxi round. Taxi light can come off, we don't want to blind him. Very bright aircraft lights. I'll just see if he's going to talk to us, is he? Who left that van there? It's like being in Italy. He's talking to us. Okay. I'm trying not to hit that van, obviously. See him anymore. Okay, I think he's saying stop. Okay, so I wish I could have gone up like that. Okay, so APU is on, APU bleed coming on. Engine 2, engine 1, passenger signs. And I think we're done. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that flight. I hope it demoed P2A, although they didn't give us any ground instructions at the end. But who cares? The rest of it was quite good. Alright, take care. Have fun. Bye.